Hello and welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk Hockey. This is episode 16, powered by Pixel Factory Media and sponsored by the Bunkers Hill Hockey. More on them in the intermissions coming up. I'm your host, Max, and joining me in the virtual change room today is my dad. He's back again. Neil, say hello.
Hey, hi.
And we have possibly the best guest we're probably ever going to have on this podcast. I'm pleased to announce some of his stats going forward. So, playing in the OHL for 187 games and 28 games in the playoffs. In the AHL, he played 536 games, 48 in the playoffs. In the NHL, he notched up 93 games. ECHL, 123 games. The Elite League, 84 games. In the Russian Super League, 92 games. In the KHL, when it changed over to the KHL, he played 64 games. That's only just to name a few. In 2012 and 13, he cleared up at the awards in the Elite League, being part of the Grand Slam Nottingham Panthers, being named Forward of the Year, Player of the Year, First Team All-Star, most points. It is with greatest pleasure that I get to introduce David Ling to the podcast. How are we doing, Linger?
Great to join you here. Yeah, how's it going?
It's wicked. This is the treat. This is a big treat. I'm glad you agreed to come on.
I'm repping too. I'm repping.
Yeah. So this, unfortunately, it's an audio-only podcast. I've got to tell everybody that he is repping a Nottingham Panthers hoodie for us this evening.
Yeah, well done, mate. Well done.
Yeah. So we're going to get straight into it, drop it into first period, and get straight onto the get-to-know-you questions. So here we go. So question number one, what was your introduction to hockey? How did you get into the sport?
I had an older brother, and my parents were introduced us to a bunch of different sports, hockey being one of them. And my brother took a liking 2 years. He's 2 years my elder, and he ended up getting a head start. But I joined in. I don't think I was out of diapers when I was his goalie.
So what were the other sports? What could you have gone down?
Well, my mom and dad put us in soccer, baseball, golf at a very young age and kind of let us wean it out. My brother stayed on soccer more, as did my sister, and I played more golf outside of the hockey. So we both played hockey, but he stuck with soccer and I played with golf.
Oh, cool. So my next question is quite an interesting one for myself, and probably is going to be quite an interesting answer, hopefully. So it is, what does your number mean to you? You've played in a fair few numbers. To rattle off a few, you've gone 19, 71, 44, most recently, 40, 9, and 51 are the ones that I could do my research on. Any of those hold a significant value?
My number's 17. I try to wear it the most. It's Gerard Gallant, who played with the Detroit Red Wings, is now coaching. He coached with Vegas. He's coaching the New York Rangers now. He was one of the only NHLers from my hometown, and he wore 17, and it caught me early, and I really enjoyed his style of play. And he ended up coaching me, and we're good friends now. So it's kind of both my kids wear 17 as well. So it's kind of a tradition that's going down.
That's wicked. That's great. So your hockey memories. One from playing and one from watching, kind of ones that kind of stand out to you.
My first NHL game for sure. It was Hockey Night in Canada, the Montreal Canadiens versus the Boston Bruins. Your dad's wearing a hoodie right now, but yeah, no, it's against the Boston. That's the highlight. I grew up wanting to play in the NHL, dreamt about playing in the NHL, and my first game. And honestly, watching my first NHL game live was my biggest thrill watching the game. It's you dream of playing the NHL. It's you can't go any higher, and when you get there or you get to watch it, it's memorable.
No, definitely. So do you keep up with hockey now? Do you support any teams, players? I know a lot of ex-players just kind of follow their friends and kind of what they're up to.
I lived in Ontario for a long time, and I kind of adopted I grew up a Red Wing fan because of Gerard Gallant, who wore 17, but I kind of adopted the Toronto Maple Leafs, and now with Gerard coaching the Rangers, I might cheer for the Rangers. But I do really follow the best players. I enjoy watching the Crosbys, the McDavids, the high skill players, Mitch Marner, Austin Matthews, the guys that are really, really, not only are they in the NHL, but they're the elite of the NHL. I enjoy watching them. I think that the skill level is something that is that I can't comprehend.
Oh yeah, no, it is that they're playing a different game sometimes. They're at such a different level. So you spoke about Gallant. Is there any other players that inspires you growing up?
Yeah, I being a smaller guy that liked the rough stuff. The Wendell Clark. I enjoyed Bob Probert. He wasn't little, but he could score and fight in his heyday. So it was guys that could do both. Jeremy Roenick, who didn't fight as often but threw his body around. Guys like that could score, that were skilled, that also didn't mind getting their nose dirty.
No, good players, the guys that can do it all. So we're rattling through these, and it's on to your dream line. So the stipulations are: you've got to play on the line. What are the other forwards that you're having there with you? The netminder and the defense behind you. So who's making your lineup?
Crosby and McDavid are on the forward line. I enjoyed Nicholas Lindstrom, and I really enjoy right now watching Hedman play on D. And
okay.
A goalie would have to be Patrick Waugh.
Wow. Okay, I thought you were going for Hextall or something like that. That kind of play.
Like Billy. I like Hextall, Billy Smith, but I really enjoyed how good a Patrick Waugh was. I think that him and Brodeur were head and shoulders above them, and cheer for the GOAT.
Oh yeah, definitely. So on to my favorite part of this first period is the lightning round. So you're just going to answer your favorite or your best, what you think is the best to these options that I give in front of you. So are you ready to start? I'm going to come pretty quick.
Yeah.
Here we go. So favorite or best hockey brand?
Hockey what?
Hockey brand. So Bauer, CCM, something like
that. CCM.
An away rink to play in. One in the UK, one in America or North America.
I enjoyed playing in Cardiff. Smaller with a little bit of more banging, and Madison Square Gardens is a mecca of hockey. Playing there.
Wow. Same again for opposition. UK and North America. Favorite team to play against?
Sheffield. I enjoyed winning the best there. Just there was more of a beating Sheffield. It was made your day, and I think back here it would have been I don't know back here.
Okay, no problem. Favorite or best jersey you've ever played in?
My favorite jersey, Montreal Canadiens, because again it's the NHL, and no question.
Awesome. White or black stick tape?
Black, unless I'm slumping and I switch it up and trick the brain.
Skate tongues, are they flopped or are they tucked in?
Tongues out, but not flopped.
Okay. Pre-game song of choice or genre of music of choice? What you listen to pre-game?
No, I wasn't a big music guy before games, but if it would have been country.
What? Country?
Good call.
Whoa.
I'm more of a country guy post game, but country's all good in my book. Sweet Dangle or Sweet Sally?
Can't have a Sweet Dangle without a Sweet Sally.
There you go.
Sweet Sally.
Okay. Tape to tape or coast to coast?
I always enjoyed setting up a guy back door, but I would still have to say it's coast to coast.
Yeah, it looks the flashiest. Favorite or best hockey media, hockey TV show, film or something?
Slapshot, no question.
No question. Post game drink of choice?
Obviously, as everyone knows, it's a beer of some kind.
Apart from someone you've already mentioned before, favorite coach?
I had two. Gerard Glantz one, but I had Gary Agnew who coached me in junior, and he ended up coaching me in pro, and I was captain for both teams. So he's one of them. He's a good friend of mine as well now. Awesome.
Well, we've got a little bit of time here. I'm pretty sure Neil's got a couple of questions
for you. Not Corey Nielsen.
Oh, okay. Well, let's go into that then.
No, I love Corey.
Well, then we've got time for that.
We've got plenty of time left at the moment. No, you've got a question? Go ahead.
So when the guy, I just missed his name. Sorry, the junior coach you had,
Gary Agnew.
So like he shaped you in the sense of like he knew what he saw, and obviously he liked what he saw, and then like, go on.
I think you know what I think. I think he gave me the ice time and put me in position to succeed. And offensively, that's what an offensive player wants. And the 2 years that he did it, I produced and had good years. So it was kind of he helped me and I paid him back.
Yeah, and I think that mutual respect is how you move your way down a career of anything what you do. I mean, that's great. I mean, and to give you the ice time is like almost like respect back as well.
6 forwards on every team like the coach and 6 don't, and it's all to do with ice time, I think.
Yeah, it was good. I particularly like your style of playing, the way you were sort of like real easy on the ice. Nothing was a real problem, and because I was still quite new to hockey, going to hockey and watching hockey. So when you was playing the Panthers with Jordan Fox and other guys there, I just naturally enjoyed, and it's only what you see as well. Because I say I was still quite new to hockey and all the rules and what goes on, so I was still learning.
Yeah, you know, I took it as some form of entertainment. I did like entertaining. I did like being on the ice and having fun, and I did like getting an edge on the opponent, being whether it's a stick in the back of the legs or a punch in the face. It was just to help you get to the win.
Yeah, that's like you need a reaction just so the crowd goes. It changes the course of the game, and it just soups everything up. And I love that. I love it. The chirping. I particularly love.
Yeah, you know, David Ling and chirping go in the same sentence always.
Definitely.
So it's you know, people go, oh, he's a little, you know, like a little asshole or whatever. But to me, that's a compliment. Every time someone gives me a negative or the opposing crowd boos me, you know, it's a compliment and a pat in the back.
It's to say it's a win-win, bad or good, it's all good.
But I think my favorite one, I was taking my parents to a game fairly early on in their, like my dad said, in his hockey watching days. And we were down right near the boards in the corner, block 12, 13 in the arena. And between you and Jordan Fox, I think you were in front of the guy, giving him a load of lip, and behind him, Jordan Fox was pushing his helmet up. Or it might have been you. It might have been the other way around.
It was doing the helmet.
Of course it was. so Fox,
and his guys like this. He's like, that was brilliant. That was brilliant. It was just, it was exactly what I would be doing as well. That's the thing.
It's one of the things that I get to do when I get to play rec hockey games. I get to wind people up, and it's honestly it's the most fun thing. I love it. I love pushing guys to the limit.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. I love antagonizing the other team. I enjoyed getting the crowd going. I enjoyed the entertainment. I you know, I love the game. I love scoring goals out, but it was a form of entertainment, one for me and one that I gave to other people.
Awesome. Yeah. Cool. So we've run on a little bit in that period, but that's not a problem. We're going to jump straight into the second period. We'll see you shortly after this break. Welcome back to the first intermission. It's period 2. We've still got David Ling with us. And going straight into period 2 questions, we're going to ask Linger first, why Nottingham? Of all the leagues that you ended up playing in and kind of bouncing around and stuff, kind of where did Nottingham come on the radar and how did all that kind of go down?
You know, it was through Corey. I knew Corey from my junior days. He's similar age, and he kept reaching out, and it was a perfect timing in my life. I knew I wasn't ready to retire, but I knew I needed something to help me when my playing days were over. And, you know, he offered the schooling, and I knew the league was good and getting better. And I at the time, it was perfect timing for me to come to Nottingham.
So what was Corey's pitch to you apart from the schooling? Was there like, you're going to be getting those minutes like you did in junior kind of thing?
Well, he did pump me up a little bit, but as everyone knows, you can't believe every word that comes out of his mouth. So
yeah,
I was never guaranteed ice time. I was never guaranteed any time. I was confident that, I'd be able to play on the team and do the schooling at the same time. So I think that was a draw. I respected Corey as a player, and I knew him personable. I just didn't know him as a coach.
Awesome. I've got to have a fair few interactions over the years with Corey, and he's not exactly the guy that you expect him. Like the media puts him, he puts a face on for the media, I'd say, and then behind that, he's a very interesting human being. He did talk about when you guys used to play in juniors. I think he told a story, if I'm remembering it rightly, that you were in front of the net, and his coach was like, "You can't let him stand there. You got to shift him out the crease. You got to move him." This back in obviously the days where you could like kind of take a bit more liberty in front of the net and stuff. And you kind of turned around to him and said something to him, which made him back off. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah,
it's a long.
I'm sure it was something along the line. You do that again, and you're going to be eating my glove.
Yeah, I think it was on them sort of lines too. Yeah, he loves telling that story. And if anybody knows the size difference between Linger and Corey, yeah, Corey had a lot of. Well, it shocked him to say the least. He was, I don't think he touched after that.
He wasn't. He was high skilled. He wasn't as physical as probably as he should have been. If he was, he'd probably be still in the NHL. But so he was one of those guys that was bigger that you picked on because you knew that he wasn't going to do it. It would look really good because I was so much shorter.
Oh, awesome. So in the intro, I spoke about the amount of leagues and places that you've played over the years. Is there one city or one league that you've never played in that you would have liked to have gone and played in?
I think the Swedish league is the only one, but I actually would like to. I've never been to Sweden. I think that I do like seeing different countries and different cities, and I think that Stockholm and Sweden would be an interesting place.
That's pretty cool. So, as we've alluded to a lot in this period, you're known as an agitator, a character on and off the ice. But was there anybody that you thought was, oh wow, he's a bit too crazy, he's a bit wow out there?
No, because there was similar guys, but there was always it'd be kind of like living in a glass house and throwing rocks. If I badmouth someone that's an agitator that crosses the line, I'm pretty much talking about myself.
Fair enough. So there was a period of time in the Nottingham Panthers where we saw in the off season a lot of transfers coming over from the Brampton Beast, and the media was that they knew you because of the amount of times that you played over there and the kind of the years that you stayed in Brampton. And most famously of all, and we're going to get to that in a minute, is Chris Stewart. You had a bit of an influence on him coming over. So did Corey kind of employ you as more of kind of use you as a bit of a scout over there? What was your kind of involvement?
You know what? It was two things. I had a really good experience. I really enjoyed the league. I really enjoyed the city. I really enjoyed the experience that I had both times. And then Corey respected my knowledge of, I just didn't send anyone over. I thought there was people that could play and there was people that couldn't play over there. And I only sent the ones that I felt would benefit Corey. And he respected that and took my word on it. And, I think that I wasn't 100% on, but I was pretty close.
I think you're pretty close. I think most fans would take you on as a scout any day. Yeah. So the league that you're playing in now, you're playing for the Hamilton Steelhawks in the ACH, the same place that Chris Stewart was before he came and played for the Panthers. Talk to us a little bit about that and your playing time now, because you're still out there, you're still wheeling, dealing, you're still skating.
Well, COVID took. I do play, and I play more rec league in the last year because of COVID, just beer hockey. But I do play the senior, and I will play it. It's not pro, but it has all ex-pro players that are doing other things. And is it serious? It's really serious, and it's intense, but it's not. You don't get paid, so it's good and it's fun and it's good hockey and it gives you something to do with. Part of the thing you miss when you leave the game is the dressing room and the competitiveness, and this gives you both.
Oh, definitely.
So I suppose you still got sort of like ambition to play at a level, and you need sort of like weaning off that a little bit, if you don't mind. That's me. Me thinking about it.
I'm still in game shape if anyone over there is looking for it.
I'll pass the message on to Gary.
Oh, that'll go down on deaf ears. Don't tell that knob.
No, I'll pass it on to Tim and Guy Doucette. But no, Neil, you got anything else? I've got a couple more things.
There was one I think inspired piece of banter on the ice which I liked, and I need to sort of tell you about it. Is when the Zamboni was coming out to clear up some blood, and he did the ski thing behind it on the night. It was just like one thing that I replay in my head no end of times. Like I just think that was was that just like you just thought of to ski behind the Zamboni?
You know what? I used to do it in practice sometimes for the guys to joke around when I was younger.
Yeah.
I don't know why I hadn't done it, and I don't know why it crossed my mind. But when it came out, it was a spontaneous thing. I pushed Clarkie in the ribs and said, "Watch this," and out the door I went. And that was, there wasn't even time to think about it or anyone say, "Don't do it." I just, it was spontaneous.
It's me.
I hit Clarkie. I said, "Watch this," and that was it. But
yeah, it was me.
I had done it before in practice, so it wasn't a totally new thing, but I never did it in front of.
I absolutely loved it. I thought it was magic, absolutely magic.
So, of all the guys when you were over here in Nottingham both times, was there anybody that were you more of a guy of? Did you used to play pranks and stuff, or were you a victim of pranks and stuff? And were there any that you're quite proud of? You know
what, I didn't get the victim very often because they knew that they would get it back 2-3-fold. So it was, and I was more of the practical joker with my mouth instead of doing things some other guys that would do. I was a really big fan of witnessing a whole bunch of different pranks. So I enjoyed them, but I did more of mine through verbal.
Yeah. So you had a stallmate, Evan Mosey, and I got to chat with him a few years back. And I don't know if you ever knew it, but they were egging him on throughout the whole of that season that you were there to try and take a bite out of your bell pepper before a game to see if you would notice.
No, I would have noticed because I ate it every game. So he didn't have the balls to do it either. So
no,
there was two things.
but leading on to that, he was a bit of a practical joker himself because it's not been told yet, and I want to get him on the podcast to tell it. I don't know if you were involved, if you knew, because very few people in the room know it, that you had Apple TV in the room and you had Cam Jansen there, and Evan found out that he could download an app on his phone to control the Apple TV. So whenever Cam was using it, because he wanted to put his music on, his highlights or whatever else, he was the guy that messing it up. And it got to the point where Cam bought two controllers because he thought they were broken to try and do it. Because every time he'd go to select something, he'd move it off. I didn't know if you were kind of in on that, or you kind of knew about it, or you were aware of it.
I knew about it, and I laughed for sure. I love Cam, but he's not real bright.
I can see that. I can understand that. Yeah. I wonder whether you were in on, because I knew from speaking to Evan, not a lot of people knew that. And he told the story on one of our camps, to the amazement of like 2 or 3 other coaches that were on that team as well. Like turned around and went, "Oh wow, that was you," because if he didn't have the balls to bite a bite out of your bell pepper, they didn't think he'd have the balls to take on Cam Jansen.
Yeah, no, he kept that quiet amongst most.
Yeah, he did well. I've burnt through all my questions. Now, have you got any more?
No, I'm just a spectator.
Just a spectator. We're going to cut it there, and we're going to head to our second intermission and join us after the break, where we'll have period 3 with David Ling. Welcome back for the third and final period. Kicking off this period, we are going to go into the news. We are a rec hockey podcast, even though we've had plenty of pros on. And I want to give a shout out to the Leeds Warriors. They played their first game. It was a 4-2 loss. But by all accounts, the guys had fun, the guys enjoyed themselves. And for a startup team that started, I think, a month or two before COVID hit in the UK, they've kept themselves together. They've trained where they can, and now had their first game, albeit a 4-2 loss. But it takes time, and they'll be on the road to success soon. In other news, the OHL and the WHL, within a week of each other, have had their first female lineswoman. Another step forward in the sport. And I think really we're only a year away from seeing female officials being more of a regular thing, and potentially having armbands on as well, which is, I think, the only grows the sport, only betters the sport. And that's all I've got for the news. I was going to talk about this thing that happened in Ukraine, but it's a very, very touchy subject. There's proper media for information if you want to go and read that. So if you want to go and seek that out, please do. But we're going to pass over that because, like I say, there's better people out there, better trained media people out there than myself. And we're going to get back to our fantastic guest and talk about his post-playing career. So if people don't know, David Ling is doing something on Twitter and all social media, I believe, the Ling thing. So Linger, talk to us about the Ling thing. Where did it start? What is it? What's it all about?
It's I have a son who's 17, and you watch him play, and you realize that coaches and parents don't have time, don't know, just to give the kids a little extra edge. And I always wanted to give back to the game, and now it is. It's basically I analyze the kids' games and give them feedback one-on-one and kind of mentor, coach them where, you do have a coach, but he's working with 20 kids and he's working towards a system more than one-on-one. So it's kind of things that get overlooked. And in Canada, there's highly skilled players, and sometimes they just need a little extra coaching. So that's the way that I chose to give back. It's going pretty well, and it's getting busy, and a lot of people are benefiting from it for sure.
Awesome. You got any future stars you think in the making?
Yeah, they're all pretty good players, and they're it's at 15, 16, 17, there's a lot of common mistakes that they're all making, and it just takes a little bit of a tweaking, and the ones that change and tweak will be moving on.
Yeah, sounds good. Are you doing any other coaching? I've seen you've been on a couple of, I think it was on Instagram or on your Twitter as well. You did some coaching with some juniors. Are you keeping that up? Are you coaching the team?
Yeah, I do some player development, which is some skills. It's similar to analyzing, but it's live, and it's in the Quebec Major Junior League.
Okay.
HL, same, the local team here. I go out there and I help them. I help them with shooting. Sometimes it's the mental aspect of the game. How do you get a coach off your back? Just different things, mentoring skills. And it's I don't really enjoy the coaching part where I have to put on the whole practice and go. I don't really enjoy that. I don't mind it, but I really enjoy one-on-one small groups where I can give back where I feel that they can need the help.
Sounds brilliant. Who wouldn't want to be coached by a guy that's done it all, seen it all, and then some on top of that?
And when I do talk to them, I don't say you got to put this into your game. It's they're at the level they're at because they're good players. I just give them options to throw certain things into the game. It's like a golf bag. You have 14 clubs. You don't use them all, but maybe you should. So I don't say if you don't do it, you're not going to be any good, because they're all good. Yeah. I just say, do this or try to put this into your game sometimes, and this will happen, and just get them thinking in different ways, which if you didn't experience, you wouldn't know.
That's good from a good mentor side. It's like you can see their strengths, and you just give them a bit of a feed, and then they can sort of elaborate on that. They can sort of move into a better position, as you say, by that little bit of instruction. It's constructive, as well as then you can see the final product as well.
Yeah, and you're very right, but it's also where I can give them, if you keep doing this, or you behave like this. I've been there and done it. I know the outcome.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's better to know the outcome before you experience it. I didn't get to. I had to learn the hard way. Mentoring them, not even skill wise, it's just mentoring them on experience.
Well, that's the wise words as well. Putting old heads on new shoulders is hard, and it's always difficult in any aspect. But I mean, as you say, I've been there, I've seen it, I've done it. This is what really should. That's great, and it's moulding them. It's lovely. I think it's great when you see something new and fresh, and then it comes to fruition as they play on the ice, and you say, "Wow, I've had a part of that. That must be really rewarding."
So, next thing I want to ask you about is, you said earlier that you've got a 17-year-old. I know you've got another boy as well, both of which are playing hockey. How's it being a hockey dad now that you're on the other side of the fence?
Sometimes it's frustrating because you want to put your own brain inside theirs, but it's I'm not crazy hockey dad. I ask them if they want some advice, and sometimes they say, "You know what, Dad, no," and sometimes they say, "Yeah," and I compliment them when they deserve it. And they're different players. One's really, really highly skilled. The other one has skill, but he works so hard and isn't scared of anything. So there's two different aspects that both of them have. And if I could chuck them down the stairs together and they form one, I might have an NHLer.
That's not the mold you're looking for. It's not the mold.
Oh my gosh. So what does a general day-to-day day look like in the life of David Ling now post playing?
I do have a job. I work in the finance industry doing life insurance and building people's wealth. And I'm working with a company called Sun Life over here, and it's just switch companies. And it's I really enjoy it because you're setting up people. One, you're protecting them if something happens with the insurance, and you're protecting them and having them enjoy their retirement when they do. So I really enjoy helping that part. I don't really enjoy bugging people for them to come work with me, but it's part of it. And but I do really enjoy setting people up and letting them enjoy their retirement instead of worrying.
Awesome. So I've left plenty of time in the end of this episode and in this period as well, because we've got a question that we like to end on, the OT question from our guest. So David Ling, whenever you're ready, do you have a question for us?
Well, I do, and it's two parts. Could be two questions, but I'm going to do it anyway. It's who was your favorite guest and who was your favorite player in a Panther uniform and why?
Oof. My favorite guest so far.
And you can't say me.
I can't. Okay. Well, okay. Okay. Down. I have enjoyed every guest that I've had on, obviously, because I wouldn't have had them on anyway. But I'm going to have to give two answers because they were just outstanding. One is the guy that I've played with, a guy called Stu Wilson. He was very early on in our podcast episodes. If anybody hasn't gone back and listened to it yet, he's got tales from back in the old rink before it was the arena in Nottingham. He's played for not hundreds of years because he's not that old, but he played for a long time. He won't mind me saying that. He's an old hand of the hockey world in Nottingham. And he has some fantastic stories from the old days back in the old rink, watching and playing in there as well. So that was fascinating to listen to him talk. A guy I've played alongside of for 5-6 years maybe, and never knew half of the stuff that came out of his mouth. That he got to play with certain players and kind of hang out with people around the rink and stuff, which is awesome. And then our latest episode, I loved having on Sean McMorrow. We had him on for an episode. Neil, that was your first flurry into this, the one that's just gone. And he was a delight to talk to. Fantastic. His knowledge, his kind of whole persona and charisma and stuff. It was awesome. It was awesome to have him on. Neil, you've listened to a couple of the episodes. Is there any guests that you enjoyed listening to?
It's real straight easy for me. I mean, like Corey Nielsen for playing, he just looked real good on the ice. And I can't have David, so that's fine. But Sean as well, because I've only sat in on this, my second one. And I'm delighted to be asked to come and sit in as well. I've got very little knowledge on hockey and stuff and what I've seen in that. But I know what I like, I know what I've seen and what I enjoy. And I've enjoyed this experience as well. And speaking to David, it's been great.
I can appreciate it because I know the Sheriff, and I played pro against him in North America, and he was not only was he tough on the ice, he was a character on and off the ice. So he's a guy that I can appreciate that those answers are there. I like Sean.
As for my player in a Panthers uniform, it has to be the man that's behind me here, number 44, Jordan Fox. Being able to play alongside him in the testimonials, the one that you gave me a check into the boards. Cheers, Linger. You had a big smile on your face when you're doing it. You seem to enjoy it. But playing alongside of him, Kowalski, and a few of I think Matt Francis was on there, and a few of the other guys
Foxy
as well. That was fantastic.
Foxy might not fit in that jersey right now.
He squeezed into that one. That was game one. He squeezed into those. I don't know if you know, but we were in the changing room for Lacko's testimonial, and he pulled his shorts out, and he said he had to cut all the pad. He got an extra large. He still had to cut all the padding out on the inside just so he could fit into the shorts. Yeah, yeah. He's game ready too. Everybody, if you're looking for a player.
He'd do as a keeper, you can fill the net.
Yeah,
he had some of the sickest hands the sickest hands I ever played with. He had some sweet mitts.
Yeah, his go-to backhand toe drag was a wonder to behold. And he set me up for the only goal that I scored in that one. I've got a video of it, and I'm incredibly proud of the fact that I got to get a pass.
No one remembers that goal, Max. No one remembers your goal. No, it's only on my social media for me to look back on and go, I did that once. But if that's my highlight at the moment, the second one had to be getting a check from you, and then unfortunately I had a low light where I got Foxy pushes me over the boards to take a penalty shot. I'm like, what are you doing? Why am I doing this? And he says, it's all right. You're only going against Greener, and he only goes and bloody saves it, doesn't he? Like, couldn't even put it past Dan Green. So. Never mind. Ooh. I think it's the only penalty save he ever saved, but never mind. I like Greener because he pumped your confidence in practice.
Yeah. I know that in the first testimonial that I was part of, the Stevie Lee one, we did a shootout thing at the end and everyone had a shot. And then we were playing the team with Greener and Henry Packle. And then they put Greener in for a couple of shots, and everybody on the bench just went, right, get to the blue line, just take a slap shot. Slap shots only on Greener. And yeah, I think the guys really liked winding him up. It was quite fun.
The reason he takes such abuse is he's such a good guy. He was, the years I played, the British guys were top notch, all of them. There wasn't one negative person where you would say, I didn't like him. They were all top notch. Corey did a good job with the Nottingham guys, bringing them together. Good people.
Yeah. They kind of showed you the ropes, kind of told you what was what, and all that sort of stuff when you got over here.
The only one that I really, Clarkie always wanted me to pass it to him. Like I wasn't allowed to shoot. If I didn't pass, he always on my back, and I was just like, come on, Clark, let me shoot sometimes.
Because that was the setup on the power play, wasn't it? It was Graham in front of the net, you on the left, Clarkie on the right, so you could take the one-timers across the zone.
Yeah, and you could see Clarkie's eyes just winding up when he wanted the puck. He didn't even have to yell your name. You could just see his eyes. I want this puck, and then and 9 times out of 10 when he hit it, it went in the net.
Yeah, it's something that he teaches on his camps. I've been on a fair few of them, and he still gets out there and rips shots like he's still in game shape. Really is still in game shape. I think he's in better shape actually than when he was playing.
Are you saying I'm not? Or
I'm agreeing. I'm agreeing that you are. If you say you are. But I know that
I just got some more gray hair, but I'm still in game shape.
You just got the silver flow.
I'd have you on Panthers tomorrow.
Yes. Oh, definitely. I think pretty much anybody in the fan base would definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
Straight away.
Well, I'm in game shape.
Yeah.
You're only a plane ticket and a COVID test away.
And I'm vaccinated, so I can do it.
Even better. Even better. So if Panthers, if you're listening, Panthers fans, I know there's a fair few out of there. Let's get the campaign going. We want Ling for the season. I've got nothing else. Ling, if you've got anything else that you want to promote or you want to talk about or you want to ask a question,
I think that's good. Just the last thing, even when I reminisce about my career at Nottingham, because I didn't win many places, Nottingham's got a place in my heart, and I enjoyed my time there, the fans, and we had a successful run when I was there, so that helps. And the only ring I have is an EIHL one. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. So it's been a fantastic episode. It's been one that I've been waiting for a while, and I'm so glad it's going to go in the memory bank for a long, long time. I don't think it's ever going to come out. So thank you all for listening. Thank you for Pixel Factory Media for doing the post-production. Thank you to Bunkers Hill, and look out for them offers. If you're a rec hockey team, before or after your games or your training, go and check them out. It's a great place to hang out before or after a game. They've got plenty of offers for you. I've been Max. That's been Neil. And we've had David Ling on Let's Talk Hockey. Thank you so much again, David Ling. And thank you guys for listening. We'll see you on the next one. Hey there, Let's Talk Hockey fans. So big thank you to David Ling for that interview. If you guys would like to hear more or a second episode, he's up for it. So send in your questions to Let's Talk Hockey on Instagram or Facebook or wherever you may find us. We'll try and ask them for David Ling on the next time he's on. Coming up next at the end of this episode is a little treat for you. With the end of hockey season coming up and the summer season starting, hockey camps all around the UK are starting up. One that we've talked about a few times on this podcast and sung its praises is Clark & Co Hockey, hosted by David Clark, ex-captain of the Nottingham Panthers. And coming up is interviews with the coaches from the Peterborough camp last year, and also a couple of participants. If you listen to this and you feel inclined that you want to join in one of these hockey camps, links to Clark & Co you'll be able to find on our social media pages. Look for Clark & Co Hockey, and also in the description of this audio podcast. So check them out. They're fantastic camps. And without further ado, let's go to a couple of the coaches and a couple of the participants from last year in Peterborough on Clark & Co Hockey.
My number's in his downstairs.
Yeah, his is on his wall in the in his yeah, exactly. So you've joined us here on Let's Talk Hockey. We're in Peterborough. We're on Clark & Co camp, and I've collared the man himself, David Clark. How you doing?
Great, Max. Thank you. Yeah, thanks for having me.
It's great to have you on. We do want to call you for a full interview at some point, so I'm not going to say you have to put it on record now, but at some point in the future we'll have you for a full episode.
This is recorded, so I guess it's on record. So yeah,
I can cut it and edit it. It's fine. So first things first, where did the camp start from?
Hockey camps or adult camp?
A bit of both, really. Oh. I know you do all.
Yeah.
We'll go for the whole spectrum.
Hockey camps started pretty much my son Morgan, who just played for Panthers actually this past streaming series. Got to a point, maybe 7-8 years old, and looking for camps, and there wasn't a whole lot out there in terms of current exciting coaches that were kind of for kids that kids watch and kind of see. And I was obviously in the game at the time. Good friends of mine I was playing with in Sheffield, Nottingham, Coventry, etc. Danny Myers, Jonathan Phillips, Davey Phillips. Oh God, name lots and lots, and Joel Poirier, Corey Nielsen obviously was around. Oh God, and they're all available in the summer, and it's just like, look, okay, if we can run a camp, I'm going to pay £500 to send my son somewhere. It's like, even if it costs me 500 quid, I get to sleep in my own bed, and I know he's getting really good tuition. So that was kind of the plan. So the first year we did it, and we had about 20 kids, broke even, so actually I saved 500 quid.
Nice.
And ultimately it was like from there, and then more like next year we had 40 kids, 40 to 80, and then it just went on and on. So we're like, we're on to something here, reaching the kids as much as we can. So we just need to get more coaches, more players that want to give back and coach kids. Just kind of creating that environment. So that was where the kids camp started from. Adults camp came from, once we got some momentum and we started probably having like 1,800 kids a year coming through, I'd get emails from adults that were playing a game, like, can I join? And they'd just sign up, like the system wasn't as, as smooth as what it was now, and I'd just get like a full payment come in, and on the age it would say like 38, and I'd be like, oh no, that's not allowed. So I'd have to like politely say, look, sorry, you can't come on, we've got, kids out there and safeguarding and etc. So, and it started happening more and more, and I just went down and helped the local team get underway here, Peterborough Flyers at the time, and they kind of said, look, come out, can you do something? And I suddenly realised that adults that play recreationally never really get taught the fundamentals of the game. Don't get me wrong, not everyone wants to be an amazing hockey player, but a lot of people put a lot of time, a lot of effort into it, and there's no one really to teach them how to just do those simple foundation kind of fundamentals that make the game easier, and you can develop and grow so much quicker. So we did the first one here in Peterborough about 10 years ago now. And we have so much fun. Obviously all the coaches interact, and it's not just hockey, it's also a bit of entertainment, obviously a lot of access, and for us it's always awesome, especially it's usually the end of the season and kind of a little bit more chilled out, and have a few beers with our participants, and we always have a blast.
Yeah, well, our main audience is rec hockey. We're a rec hockey podcast, so the adult side of things, and we've got on the camp with us Rosen, and we've got my co-host Ali on as well. Hoping to get some more guys on for you, sending them your way. But this has been fantastic. So joining me on this interview, we've got a son of the Clark & Co hockey camp, Morgan Clark. Recently played with the Nottingham Panthers on the streaming service. We'll save that for a full episode so we can get into that. He's really talking about the Clark & Co camp we're on today. You've seen it start and you've seen it all the way through to this. How much do you enjoy being part of these camps?
I love to be a part of the camps. It's always nice to come down and help people develop, watch them get better through the weeks and learn a lot of new things, help people learn a lot of new things.
So you started as a player, obviously being David's son, and now you've moved on to more of the coaching side of things as you've kind of moved on your development and on your hockey career. That transition from player to coach, how much of a difference have you seen in the camps since then?
Since I started as a player when the camps first started in 2008, I'd like to say. So okay. I was a player all the way up until I was 16. So the 2015 camp, I got to coach on the adult camp, and it was at the start I just started moving pucks around, just demonstrating and showing people a few things. But now I get to have my own drills and coach people my way and show them how I learn things. So it's actually really good. As a coaching perspective, it's a lot different to being a player. Being a player, when you're just doing it, you don't think about it because it's muscle memory, so you just go through it and you just do the drills and you do it. But being a coach, you actually get to break down the fundamentals and learn how to play hockey a lot more, which I enjoy a lot.
Do you find that coaching helps improve your game as well?
I do find coaching helps improve my game because I focus a lot more on specific points and specific things that I would do when I'm playing, as in like shooting, catching the puck, where I would catch a pass on my backhand, how I would catch a pass on my backhand, and how I would shoot and stuff.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us, Morgan, and hopefully see you in some professional shirts in the Elite League or even further afield. So I look forward to seeing your career. Cheers, man.
Thank you very much for having me. Appreciate it.
Cheers.
Cheers.
So joining us on the podcast, we have a goalie with us. Get a goalie's perspective. How many years have you been coming on the camp, Andy?
I think as a goalie, it's been about 3 or 4 years.
Okay. How are you finding the goalie experience?
It's we got Sam Gospel. He's a very patient coach.
Yeah.
And gives you some good feedback without ripping you a new one. That's always good.
Yeah, that's always nice. So you said you've been on as a goalie voice. You said also been on as a player?
I've been on as a player, yeah, defence. Ever since it started, ever since Clarkie started it. I think he put it in the programme at a Panthers game.
Yeah.
And I saw it then. What's that? It must be about 12 years ago, was it?
Yeah, I think about it, yeah.
Yeah. So it must be 12 years now.
Awesome. What keeps you coming back?
It's a friendly. It's always a friendly event. It's always non-aggressive. They take good care of you. They push you hard.
Yeah.
But it's a very good learning experience environment.
Awesome. So will you be back again next year?
Yeah, if they'll have me, yeah.
Definitely. It's been great having you on. Cheers. So I've managed to collar another coach. With me now is goalie coach for Peterborough this year, Sam Gospel. You've been a coach a couple of times on these camps.
Yes, you know, it's working with Clark is always nice. Gets the best out of everyone, including the coaches, and when you get a chance to give back to guys across all age groups and abilities, it's always nice to give something back. Yeah.
So who was it that kind of put you into contact with Clarky? Did he approach you yourself, or did you kind of seek it out?
Ewan King put me through. According to Ewan, you know, Clark gave me a call and just said, come on. You know, Ewan probably said, I'm guessing, you know, he knows his stuff and he's played for a long time and at good levels. So yeah, that's probably why. Awesome,
because like you said, guys at this level, at our rec level, they get thrown in goal if they want to be there, and kind of left lambs to the slaughter almost. So it's good to give them kind of the aspects of what a pro goalie would get taught through his junior careers if guys haven't been through that.
Yeah, definitely. You know, at this level, I try and as a coach to simplify things and, you know, put it in the context where you can learn the simple terms of goaltending and then apply them in your own club stuff and with your rec teams, and give the guys a chance to start progressing in their rec careers.
Yeah. So what's the most enjoyable thing, or maybe even the most enjoyable drill that you do for your goalies?
I think in terms of my goaltending, I like to challenge them. You know, you really want to engage them mentally and physically. And when, you know, to me, nothing beats like a good, you know, few shots in a drill and with a battle towards the end of it. And for me, it's the engagement, and hopefully my goalies like to do that. So, well, I haven't heard anything bad so far. So.
Awesome, all good things. So thanks for joining us, Sam. We'll see you probably on the next camp, and we'll move on to the next interview. Cheers. Cool. So I've managed to get hold of another participant, an old hat, an old friend. It's good to be recontacted with him. Rich Mcmanus.
Yeah, thank you, Max. Yeah, it's good to see you too.
No problem. Been away from the Clark & Co camps for a little bit, but now you're back.
Yeah, I've had a couple of Peterborough camps and a couple of Nottingham ones off, just injuries and all sorts. But yeah, COVID's given me the time to actually slightly fix myself, and yeah, we're back in Tarky again.
A positive story out of COVID. That's nice to hear.
One of the few, yeah.
So what keeps you coming back to Clark & Co?
I think it's the atmosphere more than anything, to be honest. We've just been talking about it in the changing room. It's the passion that all the coaches have, and just like the fun side of it, that you're learning loads and like you're working on things that you just don't do as a rec player, like in training, and actually getting those little bit of skill bits, but whilst having fun, basically.
Yeah, definitely. So we've spoken to a couple of coaches. We have Rachel Code here, a perennial participant at Clark & Co camp. How are we finding this year's camp?
Yeah, it's really good to be back on the ice. It's good to see the coaches and see all the participants. Nice to get rid of all the rusty behaviour and remember what it's like to play ice hockey.
So you've been coming to these for a fair few years. What keeps you coming back?
The coaching is awesome, and the ratio of coaches to students is amazing. Every year I learn something new, I have new tips, and I make some new friends and have loads and loads of fun.
Do you have a favourite coach?
Stevie Lee.
Stevie Lee?
Yeah, always.
Well, he's good to look at. He's also good as a coach as well.
He's a great coach. He's also a D. He's really patient, and I learn loads from him every time he's here.
So what are you trying to work on most this weekend?
Just trying to really remember how to do stuff, and now my confidence is coming back even after just the end of day 2. Just pushing myself a little harder, and coming away feeling like I'm ready to take anyone on.
That's perfect. Thanks for your time, Rachel. We'll see you soon.
Let's talk hockey!